Hey everybody, Marcus Crawford here with the Idaho Quadcopter channel. Hey, I have the Autel Evo Nano Plus again with me today. And lo and behold, we had a firmware update. Let me take a look at my phone and let me get you those numbers. So we also had an app update. Let me give you that number first. So the app now is version 1.0.66. And what did that do? It added no-fly zones. It did some bug fixes, optimized the over-the-air or over-the-app firmware upgrade user interface, optimized the main page user interface, and fixed some minor bugs. And I put that on screen, of course. So more importantly, what we see on the firmware of the drone itself. So it upgraded the aircraft firmware to version 1.0.8. And there really were no notes in the firmware that I saw of what it updated. They didn't really give you any notes. They may be someplace online. But anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to fire up this drone. And what we're looking for today is video quality primarily. So I want to check a couple of things. I want to check the video quality, see if we still see any of those shakes and the jello effect that we've seen in the video previously with this particular drone. And then also I want to take a look at the speed. I've never been able to get it up to the 15 meters per second that's advertised. And just overall the flight characteristics of the drone and the video quality. The big thing is the reason that you buy a GPS camera drone is good, solid, stabilized, good-looking video. So that's mostly what we're going to be looking at today. Now, I do want to note, it is fairly late in the day. It's about 4 p.m. Mountain Time in Idaho. And let me take a look at UAV forecast, and I can tell you what the temperature is. So UAV forecast is saying it's 40 degrees. We've got 2-mile-an-hour winds with 4-mile-an-hour gusts, visibility of 10 miles, so we should be good to go. Let me quit messing around and let's get this bird in the air. Hey, I've got everything fired up here. I've got the drone fired up, and we're gonna take a look at the safety menu real quick, and I think we probably should do a compass calibration here because we just did a firmware update. So I'm going to hit that right now. Okay, so we had a successful calibration there, and let's take a quick look. I'm going to move the RTH up just a little bit. That's too much. Boy, that's sensitive. I was trying to get it about 35. Well, we'll leave it at 36. So it says safe to fly, so let's go ahead and take off here. Let me move the camera back here so you can see the drone. There we go. Looks like it's in the view there. So let's do an auto takeoff on the app. I always forget to do that slide. So there we are, and the drone is facing the sun right now, so I want you to know that. Let's bring it in here and let you get a good look at it. So you can see that gimbal in action there as we rock it back and forth, and as usual, the drone is pretty darn steady, and we're getting the obstacle avoidance on the front. You can see that. Let's bring it in a little closer, see if we can engage that obstacle avoidance. And I'm telling you, obstacle avoidance is on, and that thing would have smacked right into me here. Yeah, I'm telling you guys. There we go. We got it a little bit. So that was kind of interesting. Okay, let's do our usual manual droney here. So we're going to go reverse and up now. Reverse and up. Bring it back forward here. I cross-coupled there a little. Okay, I'm going to aim it a little bit. We're going to drop the gimbal down just a little bit. Okay, reverse and up. Reverse, and we'll start going up now. Had to get between those trees there. So straight up. And there you're seeing the Meridian police are just leaving. They were taking a look at the pond here. Well, let me kind of yaw around and let you take a look at the pond. So what they were doing is, and I'll go over the top of it here. They were looking at this pond. He had a Matrice 300, and he took it off, and you can see this hole in the middle of the pond here. The concern was that maybe somebody fell in there, but it looks a lot, I'm looking at it too, it looks a lot like just a rock hole, and I've seen kids throwing rocks in here, but it was really cool. I watched them in action. They were very, very thorough about making sure that, that there wasn't a problem here. So let's go ahead, and we are looking into the sun here. And I see, boy, we definitely have a crooked horizon. Yeah, I wonder if I can go in and change that on the fly. Go into the camera menu, turn all that on. And we could. Okay, good. So we've got our grid lines on the, again, and the horizon's probably straightened out a little bit. Let's yaw around and see what it does. But we definitely had a little crooked horizon. We're looking into the sun, and it is after 4 p.m. now, so I had hoped to get flying a little bit sooner, but of course I wanted to stay out of the airspace while the police were taking a look at the pond here. The other cool thing is I had a great conversation with them about drones, man. We spent quite a bit of time talking about drones. So let's take a look. We are in normal mode, and we're getting easily up to that 10 meters per second top speed, so that's good. And that horizon looks really good right now. So we're going to go out to the corner out here and take a look. And we have just very little to no wind, so wind is not an issue here. So let's turn around and yeah, then we'll be looking the opposite direction and somewhat into the sun. So let's go the opposite direction here and make sure that we can still get up to that top speed, because what we've seen is some inconsistencies in speed. So, and I apologize, this probably isn't the best video, and you know what, forgot to turn video on. Okay, we got video on now, so everything you saw previous to that was a screen recording. So video on, thank goodness. I'm glad I saw that. I would have been really mad. And yeah, you know, we're getting up to, I don't know, over 9 meters per second. So that's pretty darn close. I'm going to take you back over the top of that pond again because, you know, if I just had the screen recording, you probably didn't see it very well. So let's just go over the top and take a look at it here, so I can show you on the video on the drone what they were looking at. So that was it. And yeah, boy, he had that big old Matrice, and what impressed me was how quickly he was able to get that thing off the ground. I mean, he deployed it very, very quickly. Didn't take him long. And they were talking about the expense, and the expense to the police department too, as well. So here's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to throw this baby in sport mode, and one of the things that issues that we've seen is that it wouldn't get up to that 15 meters per second speed, and obviously it turns obstacle avoidance off, and they've been very clear about that. So let's take a look. The previously, all I've been able to get it up to is 12 meters per second, and that's exactly where we're at here, 12 meters per second. So I don't know, that's about 25, yeah, more than that, probably 26, 27 miles an hour. Which is okay, but they advertise 15 meters per second. So yeah, so it's definitely not that. Let's come back the other way here again. And I'm not going to go directly into the sun this time. And again, a little bit of a crooked horizon. I'm going to stop recording, and we're going to see if that affects that top speed. So full stick forward here. Because I've had people tell me, well, when you're recording, it limits the speed. And yeah, it's still stopping at that 12 meters per second. So You know, they say that it's a top speed of 15 meters per second. I don't know how you achieve that with this drone, because it doesn't, that does not appear to be the case. So it is, doesn't, I mean, kind of the point there is that you really don't have a lot of difference between, and I'm moving the drone sideways here. Yeah, and it's looking at the sun, and look at that, we're getting a false reading on the obstacle avoidance. And you know, like I said, we're flying directly into the sun here. You know, you guys know I usually fly over the over this, and I've got the stick all the way sideways. Yeah, there it's picking up, but it definitely doesn't like looking at that sun, because it's thinking it's seeing something there. What was interesting is that it sure, when I tried to fly it into myself, trust me, I could have flown it right into that obstacle avoidance. It just wasn't working, and we had it in standard mode. Okay, let's go across the street here like we've done in the past, and yeah, we're about at a good height. I think last time I did this, we were at about 35 meters or something, so I've got the antenna pointed right at the drone, and you know, this is a little different time of day. And again, I am in sport mode, and we're only getting it up to 10 meters per second, and there is no wind. I'm looking at the flag, there's barely a wind at all. Of course, what we're more concerned about here is the quality of the video, right? We want to know if the video quality looks good, and yeah, no shakes. We don't want any jello, we don't want any shakes. So let's go on out. We've always flown out into this far corner here, so let's duplicate that. And again, you know, like I said, I'm in sport mode, and I've got the stick all the way forward, and we're at 10 meters per second. So this thing is not living up to what they claim the top speed is of 15 meters per second. And I'm moving the drone sideways here, or, yeah, attempting to. It doesn't, yeah, and see, it's saying that it sees something in the nose, and it was real inconsistent when I gave it that command. So let's go, I'm going forward here again, because I want to try and go right out to this corner. And again, I'm looking at the horizon, and it's definitely a little bit crooked. Not terribly, but it is. It's there nonetheless, so I'm reporting on it. Okay, let's stop right there. I'm going to yaw the drone to the drone's left, and we'll see if we, yeah, and I'm getting a little bit of a control signal. Yeah, now it's coming back. Little warning on screen there. And now, you know, this picture's going to look a lot better, because we've got the sun behind us now. So we're coming back, and you can tell that there's something with the way those antennas are pointed, because we had better signal going out than we did coming back, but it's picking up here, so we're good to go. And we're up to that 12 meters per second. So, I mean, there's barely a wind. I'm just telling you, there is barely a wind out here, but it was enough when it was going the other direction there, and we were headed kind of southwest there. It was enough to slow it down to about 10 meters per second off of this 12 meters per second, which is the fastest that I've been able to get this drone up to. What I'm more worried about than speed is what we see here with video quality. And again, this is an interesting time of day. You know, you don't have the, obviously the sun is not terribly high in the sky, it's low in the sky, so it just creates a lot more shadows. Quite frankly, it's a lot more interesting time to be flying a drone. There I am down there. And let's move to the side here a little bit and pick it back up. And there's that drone. It is moving right over the park there. moving right along. It looks fast, I'll tell you that. And we're at about 11 meters per second. Okay, I'm going to go back into normal mode here. And let's get that, that's smooth. Now we're in standard. I said normal, that's DJI speak. So let's turn around and bring it back. And boy, you can sure see a difference when I'm going to drop that gimbal down, kind of lighten us up a little bit here. Instead of pointing directly at the sun there. And I have an idea here that I want to try. So I'm concerned about obstacle avoidance with this drone. Yeah, and see, as soon as it gets anywhere near that sun, and I've got the stick all the way forward here, and it's not wanting to move. There, it finally took off. And I think that has to do with that obstacle avoidance, and a lot of people have reported that. So I'm going to bring it down here, and I'm going to see how close I can get to my Chevy Tahoe here. Let's pick that gimbal up just a little and move over and see if it sees the Tahoe. Drop it down here just a little. I'm looking at the drone. I want to make sure that it's got, yeah, it's kind of seeing something there. And I'm going to move so I can look directly at it. Yeah, I'm just telling you. There's no question in my mind, I could fly this drone right into the back of my car. So obstacle avoidance wise, I'm just telling you, I wouldn't trust it. I'm going to put my hand in between the drone and the car here. It is, well, in fact, I'm going to bring the camera around so you can see how close we are. Okay, so I've got the GoPro here looking at it, and you know, obstacle avoidance is on. I'm going to move. Well, now the drone is rising, which was uncommanded. Now it's coming down. Let's bring it down a little bit. So I'm going to back it off a little. And yeah, you guys can still see that on the GoPro. I'm going to move forward. And you can see it would, I could run it right into the back of the car. I mean, it's not stopping. So I backed it off there. Okay, I think we kind of proved our point, and I noticed that earlier. I don't know what's going on there. I'm going to bring it around the other side here, and I'm going to get the sun on the other side of it here. Now let's give it a bigger target. And let's see, I'm going to turn the GoPro so hopefully you can see this too. Now look at it, it's showing it in the nose here. Yeah, and it won't let me move forward now. I've got the stick all the way forward, so that's working. So yeah, I don't know what to say. If the target was just too small there, I mean, it definitely sees it now. And as we move forward, yeah, it's coming to a stop. Now, why it didn't do that at the back of the truck, I have no idea. Okay, well, so let's go around to the other side and try that. Let me move the GoPro so that you guys can see it. And the thing is, look at that, we're getting it now. So what I'm going to say is I think the sun was messing with it. Because, yeah, I'm full stick forward right now, and it's not moving. Yeah, so it's a little bit, yeah, it says the battery is low. It wants to return to home, so let's go ahead and let it do that. Let's see what it does on return to home here. So it is not rising, and it is, you saw it, it was so close to the truck. Yeah, so it was close enough that it didn't rise. It just went back and sat down, so I worry about, you know, had there been something between the drone and where it wanted to land, what might have happened there. But anyway, it stopped recording. I'll let you take a look at where the drone's at here. You saw it, so. But anyway, let me get everything shut down and we'll do a quick conclusion. Hey, okay, the Autel Evo Nano Plus. These naming conventions on these drones just drive me nuts trying to remember all that. So we had that firmware update. So we tested the speed, and I'm telling you, I can see no difference in the way the drone acts. Speed-wise, 12 meters per second is the fastest I can get mine up going. And it's rated, they say it's supposed to go 15 meters per second. So why it won't go any faster than that, haven't got a clue. So anyway, so this would be probably, I'm trying to think if the original Mavic Mini, I believe the original Mavic Mini is even faster than that. The original Mavic Mini I think would do about 30 miles an hour, I believe. So this one is about 25, 26 miles an hour is the fastest I can get it up to. So it's the slowest mini drone that I've seen by far. Now, we know the camera is good on it. I've seen glimpses of brilliance out of this camera. Now, the thing that I want to see now after this firmware update is no jello, no shakes in the video. I'm hoping that that's what I see. So I'm going to be looking at it really close. And you know, if you're looking at it on a small screen on your phone or a smaller screen, even probably an iPad mini or something, you're not going to see it. But if you look at it on a big screen, I have a 32-inch monitor on my computer. It's very, very evident, and it drives me crazy. I'll just say that. But anyway, then we tried out obstacle avoidance, and it was weird. So we kept getting obstacle avoidance going into the sun, which is understandable. I've seen that on a number of drones that, you know, there's only so much they can do with these sensors, and when you're going into the sun, you can get a false reading there. Now, what was even more concerning is when I first took off, I was bringing the drone towards me, and I'm telling you, I could have run it right into myself. I don't know, it just wasn't seeing anything. And so later on in the flight, we tried it with my Tahoe. And when I was trying to fly into the back of the Tahoe, which was kind of into the sun, but the drone was in the shade, it just didn't see it. And I could have flown the drone right into the back of the car. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind. You guys saw the video. I could have flown it just right into the back of the car. Now, as soon as I brought it around to the side here, hey, it saw it just fine, and it was no problems. The drone just would not move, which is what it's supposed to do. And the same thing when I brought it around to the front of the car. So anyway, just some things to bear in mind. Like I said, obstacle avoidance, I just don't think I would depend on it on this particular drone. It is not 100% reliable. I guess that's about it. This is Marcus Crawford with the Idaho Quadcopter channel out. So if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing to my channel. And most of all, I really appreciate you taking the time to look at this video. And of course, we'll see you on the next one. Bye now. Autel Evo Nano Plus.